Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. So my dear brothers and sisters, today our theme is hope. So to have more hope, we must check where our inner depths are. If we look into our lives, actually we live in two centers. One we can call that we are self-centered people, or we are other-centered. What does it mean when you say self-centered? We are always thinking about ourselves. What will people think about me? What will people say about me? What will I get? Will others love me? Will others appreciate me? Will others recognize me? It's all about me, mine, myself. We revolve around my own self. So the more I am a self-centered person, I will not be able to live a happy life. Or we can be self-centered, or we can be other-centered. What does it mean when you say other-centered? We are focusing our eyes on others always. What is the other person doing? What will others say about me? How will others think about me? Or we want to know what others are doing. So if we are other-centered or self-centered, our lives will become miserable. I can guarantee that, because when you are self-centered or other-centered, you can be selfish, or you can carry jealousy, or you can be a self-centered person, and your life will become miserable. So today, the Lord is calling us to get into another center. What is that center? Today Jesus is showing us there's another center to live. If you live in that center, your life will be blessed, and in and through your life that others will be blessed. So today we are going to learn that from Jesus. Let's read the Gospel of Luke, chapter 7, verses 36 to 38. It says like this: When one of the Pharisees invited Jesus to have dinner with him, he went to the Pharisee's house and reclined at the table. Here we see one of the Pharisees invited Jesus for dinner, and then he went in, and now he was reclining at the table. A woman in that town who lived a sinful life learned that Jesus was eating at the Pharisee's house. So she came there with an alabaster jar of perfume. Now here, a sinful woman in the town hears that Jesus is in this Pharisee's house. And what does she do? She brings a very expensive perfume, and she comes to the feet of Jesus. As she stood behind him at his feet, weeping, she began to wet his feet with her tears. Then she wiped them with her hair, kissed them, and poured perfume on them. So just see, was this woman invited for the dinner to the Pharisee's house? Did the Pharisee invite her? No. Was this woman accepted by the Pharisees or the guests? No. But how did she come? What happened? She broke all the barriers, and she just entered into this house, and she just directly went to the feet of Jesus. How was she able to do that? Because she had another center. She was not self-centered, or she was not other-centered. She had another center. That center was Jesus. She was looking at Jesus. So when we make Jesus the center of our lives, we become bold, we become courageous, and we become strong, and we can break any barrier. So my dear brother, my dear sister, today Jesus is inviting us. Jesus is telling there's another center to live. So if you live in that center, you will be able to receive more and more hope. What is that center? To live our lives centering Jesus, to make Jesus the center of our lives. So actually, when you make Jesus the center of our life, your inner depths will change. If you are a self-centered person, what will happen to you? You will become a very selfish person. Always you will carry anger, resentment. If you are even other-centered, what will happen? You will carry jealousy. You will have a competitive spirit, and your life will not be satisfied. Always you will be not satisfied. A person who will become irritable and frustrated, and even others will not want to associate you. But when you make Jesus the center of your life, what happens? You live for Him. You live for Him, and Jesus lives for you. Actually, Jesus always lives for us. It's we who don't. So, when you make Jesus the center of your life, means you consult Jesus in all what you do. You ask Jesus. Before you go somewhere, you ask Jesus, Jesus, am I to go to this particular place or not? Am I to speak these words or not? What do you want me to dress? What do you want me to buy? You start consulting Jesus in every small thing. That's what you call making Jesus the center of your life. We can give another word as surrender. Surrender your life to Jesus. You give Him the first place. If you give Him the first place, what happens? You will experience that peace that comes from Jesus. When you are surrendered to Jesus, what happens? Because you will experience that peace that comes from Jesus, the joy that comes from Jesus, the love that comes from Jesus will fill your heart. You will be able to experience that. So my dear brother, my dear sister, today the Lord is asking us, just check your conscience and see. Because Jesus says, in the scriptures it says, where your treasure is, your mind also will be there. Your mind will be where your treasure is. So just check your conscience and see, where does my mind runs most of the time? What do I think most of the time? So, if our mind is somewhere else, that means Jesus is not the center. So, we see in the scriptures a foolish man collected the barns in barns, and at the end, that particular night when he was really fulfilled after collecting everything, and when his barns were full, he was so happy, but that night his life was taken away, and his life was taken away. So in the same way, we can accumulate many things and think those material things will bring me happiness. That's where the joy is. So, but today we'll see our lives are so temporary, and we have seen in many events that has happened in the world with chaos. We have experienced this in a moment, how lives are being taken away. So today Jesus is calling us, come back, my son, my daughter. If you need joy, if you need peace, and if you need to live happy life, make me the center of your life. Otherwise, your life will be miserable, frustrated. So do you want frustration within you, or do you want happiness within you? Do you want to carry jealousy, anger, bitterness and become an evil person and go through misery, or do you want to have the peace and the love that Jesus gives us? So today, let's take our conscience and tell the Lord, Lord, I want to come out of being a self-centered person or other-centered person, but I want to make you the center of my life. And when we make Jesus the center of our life, we will experience hope. We'll have hope to live for the future. May God bless you.